8th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Council Chambers, City Hall, 1800 Space Park, Suite 200, Nassau Bay, Texas. I've called the meeting to the order. The roll call is all seven are present for a good solid quorum. I'm going to dispense with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance for this, what was going to be a workshop, which is now a special meeting. And I'm going to go directly into citizens' comments or public hearing. Is there anybody who would like to make any comments for the citizens' comments? Glenn? Name, rank, and serial number, and Glenn, 3 minutes, man. 3 minutes. You know, you're really.
Glenn Venables, 18222 Caprice Lane. Given the topic of the executive session tonight, and given the recent budget approval, I'd like to request that the city manager goals and objectives be posted on the website. And, you know, notwithstanding anything personal, but I assume the goals and objectives would be in the areas of infrastructure and public safety and economic development. And it sure would be helpful, I think, for the citizens to be able to see what the goals, fiscal year goals and objectives are. And of course, they could be put in a tracking scorecard and looked at monthly in terms of colors or progress or something like that. So that's it.
Thank you, Glenn. Any other comments? Any other citizens want to speak?
Yes. CM goals and not official.
Going once? Going twice? Public hearing is closed 3 times. Council member comments. Paula?
Came too quickly. I'm good, thank you, though, I'll pass.
Yep. Lucy?
Just that I've seen some people being great neighbors this week, and I appreciate that, so thank you, everybody.
Yep. Chase?
Very brief. We're making our way out of Queens Court now, with your painting, so if anybody wants to go specifically, you can reach out to me. My city website's on there, and my city email's on the city website. Feel free, I can come out on the weekends. I'm not available this weekend, but I think the weekend after that, I might have some availability. So if anybody wants a specific request, let me know, and I can make my way out there. But if you drive down Point Lookout, you'll see that the curbs are starting to look nice and painted.
James?
Congratulations for a very good Halloween. Congratulations on that. And let everybody know that the safety meeting for the public safety meeting is the third Tuesday of every month at 5:30 here at City Hall.
Sarah?
No real comment, just that Halloween in the park was fun. I painted a lot of faces. And I had lots of little helpers too, so that was nice. But other than that, okay, thank you.
Michelle?
I just wanted to thank everyone who participated in the fall sweep. It was a huge success again. There was over 35 volunteers as students, the garden club, a lot of volunteers cleaning up the peninsula. Also, I'm putting out flowers, and Chase leading the way on the painting the curves with students. It was really great fun. And then also on Sunday, we launched the Swan Lagoon Playground.
Yeah.
That was a great event. There was like 250 scoops of ice cream, so around 100 and something people there, all families, kids. I had so many compliments about the playground equipment. If you guys haven't seen it, it's just beautiful, and people are really enjoying it. Somebody was out there yesterday and said it was very popular, so go out there and take a look at it. It looks really nice, and we got the seesaw that we're going to put back. The historical monument, we didn't throw it away. We're going to put it back over there in the park. So all of you who've been asking me about the seesaw, it's coming back.
Careful using the word monument.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it's a nice historical monument. Not a
This is the historical one. So.
Yeah, the historical one, that's nice and not ugly. But in any event, yeah, thanks everyone for that. And I don't know if we said anything about Halloween in the park. Thank you, Lucy, for all that. Everybody just was complimenting that a lot. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'll just round out with some of the similar ones, and so we can get to the meat of the meeting tonight. But Halloween in the park, I really appreciate that they did the right thing by reining it in. I think the prior year was one where we had so many people from the outside. There was even some emergency response vehicle issues. There was, if there had been anything. And I think it was much more of a Nassau Bay flavor, but at the same time, it was very well attended. I think, 300 kids. I wasn't there, but that's what I understand. And then the fall sweep, I can't tell people how much I get comments around how the color is back in Nassau Bay, that the beautification, we always had the waterfront and that, but now the landscaping, a lot of the stuff, and really we just had to augment from the prior year rather than before. So that really looks good, and I am super pleased with the playground equipment. Just anybody, I think as I look around, I think most people have already been out there that I've seen. So I'm probably telling people what they already know, but it's for people who are live streaming. It has made what I call one of the weak sister parks, probably near Best Park. It's very intimate. It's right there in the trees, lots of shade. It's very artistic. It's just a really, really nice touch and spread out a lot of things for the kids to do. So I'm super, super pleased. And with that, I'll move on to our normal agenda. So this would be the new business, which was really the purpose of the meeting here, which was discussion and action, the City of Nassau Bay boards and commissions. And this is something I think I asked for. For the citizens, it has been a real struggle since taking over some of the things from the city secretary's office, as well as the cyber attack, that we've kind of lost the threads to be able to really know the different terms, different dates, different things like that. So I basically said, enough, let's just come in and we're going to set it. And I want to do things fairly simply. And I don't know if you have anything you'd like to say, Zena, in regards to things.
No, sir.
But
I think you're on track.
from a process standpoint, and maybe that's something you're what I would like to see at a minimum as part of outputs here is that we review, each committee and make sure that on there we know who's in what term for what year to be reelected and set it. I would even propose that we be very, very, how should I say, random in that we even just take the list as it goes and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and even ones go in even years, odd numbers go in odd years, and that's just the term we set or something along that line. But I'm open to hear that. The other is if there's any discussion we want about how committee members are selected, anything that we want to put in as disciplines or structures, I'm all here too as an output. But first and foremost, I think we have to do the city secretary's office a service here so she can do her job, which is to take a look at each one of these and really define when it started or what term and when it expires, so that we can manage and give notice. Right now, we really don't have that ability. So, is this the latest greatest? If I just drive here, guys, and I'm fresh paint on doing this. I'm coming from some things up in Dallas and some for I don't know if people heard, but we had the funeral for Kane Lee just here this afternoon. He's the boy who was had the freak head injury. It's a Nassau Bay family that ended up taking his life, and he's a 8th grader. He's a 14-year-older, and he has a twin, an older brother, and the family lives here in Nassau Bay. They went to Lutheran South. The Lees, for those who know the Paladinis, they bought the Palladini house, which was the neighbor to our house. That's how I've gotten to know the Lees. But it's a very, very tragic accident. And sorry I digressed on that, but some people said they've heard and others have not. So is this is the latest greatest?
Yes, sir.
And are you sure of the terms that are there?
The ones in blue, I am.
So can you walk us through this just to see what what things are here and what you know, or do you want me to keep driving?
Keep driving, sir,
Okay.
because,
So is there any other things besides the blue that you are sure of or not, and the rest are you're not sure of? Is that fair?
right, I've got the names, I believe, of all the committee members. I'm thinking that's the most current list that I've been able to collect from at least the boards that have met since I've been here.
Okay.
So I have some issues on the ones that are further down, like the TERS.
Chase had already been replaced, didn't he already vote to replace him? Yeah, because we had a planning commission meeting right after it about the crack pipe place, and Chase wasn't on it, it was Gary Mossman or something like that.
Well, Gary's on there.
Yes, I just
So
put down
how many
just,
people are on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Which is right.
Which is, I think, this is
I
correct.
just kept them on the list because I wanted to keep track of who had already served for my purposes.
Okay,
So I could, those can be
off the
deleted,
list.
Yeah, so
yes.
let me, yeah, correct. I believe that the planning commission and Rod, it's always been 7 people, so that Jeff Horton and them are resign and Chase have resigned is they just need to be off. And that we need to have here, and let's look at the dates just to be sure. You've got, of these 7, you've got 1, 2, 3 that are 20, no, 1, 2 that are 24 and 4 that are 25.
No, I have 1, 2, 3 that are 24.
Where's the third one?
Rod Malino.
No,
Well, I see you have Rod
Is
Mr.
24.
and Gary Mossman.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, on one of the resignations, when Bryce Kluge came in, that's why he's 25 and not 24. There was a 24 resignation of Jeff Horton, and that's why you have more 25s than 24.
But I don't think that's correct, because so what I remember of, and this is a chartered committee, is that there needs to be 3 1 year for the next, and it's on a 3-4 staggered.
so that means that when Glenn Venables took Jeff Horton's, he should still stay at January 24, and you just have to re-up him. Right?
I think you
It was
assume
1974.
the, you assume the position of the person, yes, the seat of the person you take over for, right? So then at that point, you,
I would think that would be right.
right, and this is the problem, because all of these things say January 25th, so we need to figure out who took whose seat, so we can stagger them appropriately.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
Glenn
they're-
Venables took, the seat. for-
Actually, I think Glenn took Chase's because he was the most recent.
Okay, so then,
And I believe Gary Mossman took
Took.
Jeff Horton's.
so that's still only. leaves
If I
2
remember.
No, I'm sorry, you're incorrect. It was Bryce Kluge.
I'm sorry.
Then you're right. No,
So Clue should be.
so let's
24.
just make it that way, just honestly, because I want to make sure we're part of the charter. I really don't want to have
3 even.
I don't want this to be subjective or arbitrary. I want it to be as close as possible. Let's just set it.
4
okay.
members are on.
So I believe
are
here,
even.
we're going to have several motions on here, and I think we should go one by one. I would like to ask for a motion. We can do action here, correct?
Yes.
Yes, what I thought. I would like to have a motion on the planning commission that would acknowledge that there are only 7, and that Bryce Kluge took Jeff Horton's position, and Glenn Venerables took Chase Waterwall, and to set the dates so that this committee then becomes correct.
I'd like to make a
They're
motion
3
that
even.
the planning commission and zoning commission, that, if I'm correct, Bryce Kluge takes Jeff Horton's resignation and replaces him with a January 24 date and expiration date, and that Glenn Venables takes Chase Warwall's resignation spot, which would then lead into a date of January 20.
Which would stay the same, yep, which would stay the same.
Right, correct.
And that
And
would,
that the
2, 3,
the
that's
number of
That's right, there's 3.
planning commission and zoning commissioners are listed at 7.
I'll second it.
so a motion by James, seconded by Chase. Any other comments or discussion? I'm not going to change, I don't want to ask, but I just want to for my comment, that means Gary Mossman, Bryce Kluge, and Rod Molyneux are all January 21st. And then we would have John Nugent, Dave Polerstock, Glenn Venerables, Henry Domingo would be the 4 that would be in January 2025.
And that would give us the 7.
And that would give us the 7,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Then any other comments, any other questions?
Yeah, just, you said the 21st, but Mossman, Molyneux include would be January 2024.
I'm sorry, 2024.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. Sorry about that. I meant 2024. Any other questions, any other comments? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Hey, guys, we got the first one done. Board of Adjustment. Board of Adjustment. So we have no idea who's on the stagger at all on these, or,
Well, I believe that,
because I see 2023, 2024, and 2025.
so Boris should really be August of 2024. And I think these other people are August of 2024.
Mr. Mayor, if I can, just a note that Gary Newberry and Mr. Deeds, along with our alternative, Ms. Jansen, they are all over their term.
Yeah.
And that should be, these are August of 2023. That those candidates would not be, or those
I think they were already.
members would not be on that commission. Or
Would it, how many are supposed to be on that committee? 7, 6, 5.
Five members and 4 alternates.
Yep.
5 members and 4 alternates.
Yep.
Okay,
And 9 total, and then
so alternate. See,
Actually, it's 5 with 3 alternatives, right? Right.
it
design.
says start. Maybe it's- I know we did this.
Pardon me?
I was sure we did this when it came up. Like, that's when we put boards in.
I mean, again, this is the problem. I mean, I don't know if we have all the threads from the cyber attack for what all has been done. And, if you have facts that you want to be considered, then let's talk about the facts. All we know is this is ambiguous and we have to fix it.
So just to further, when we're looking at the members of the Board of Adjustment, so it's 5 members, 4 alternates. And if you look at it, the 5 members should have a 3 and 2 alternating years.
Oh, yes,
So
correct.
we
There
need to
should be
fix that.
3 up for 1 year and 2.
Correct. And
yeah,
then the alternate should have a 2 and 2 alternating years, and we have a 3 and 1.
correct. That's exactly right.
So we need to fix that for sure.
I mean, it doesn't even look like it has enough members right now.
Yeah, there's not enough.
1, 2, 3, 4.
there's only
No,
three
there's
alternates.
four.
I think there's only supposed to be
There's
4.
supposed to be-
Oh, because we have a resignation.
There are
yeah.
three alternates.
Yeah, 3 alternates because Bryce
Three
resigned.
alternates and 5.
Yeah, correct.
So it does have the right number of people.
So would,
So we need 225 alternates.
No, you need 3 alternates.
so would people be, and I really don't want to be, subjective or arbitrary here. Would people be upset if we just started with Borson? He's number 1 and just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and set the odd ones as 2025 and the even ones as 2024.
We know none of these
That's
folks have
fine.
resigned or are still interested.
I know John was interested, Boris. I know Kyle was. Jerry, the last time I talked with him, he was past his health issues. So I believe the answer is yes. We can, what I would like to do is, and I don't mind doing this, is set that. And then if they choose to resign, then we come back next month and fix it.
Good idea.
So
Because I don't want to overwork this, and I want to make it simple and fair and equitable.
Mr. Mayor, then I'd like to make a motion.
Good.
With that, I would like to make a motion that we, number 1, go through and adjust the numbers that are required of the 5 and 4 in relation to the Board of Adjustment, that those members that are listed on the sheet here that have not resigned, then be allowed to continue on and adjusting to the the odd and even as required by the charter of the city of Nassau Bay, and that those individuals are given a chance and contacted in relationship to their ability to perform on that Board of Adjustments underneath their role
For that time.
For that time.
for the period of time that they are.
In the order by which you're going to establish the stagger?
The stagger, odds, the odds and evens, so.
So you would agree, just so if I can see if you would take this as an amendment, given the hierarchical order of these, starting with Boris as a 1 and Kyle as a 2 as an example, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the first 5. Those that are odd will be 2025, and those that are even will be 2024, and the rest of your motion would apply.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
Do you have that? Zena?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I hear a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Michelle. Any other questions or comments here?
Are we gonna handle the alternatives because?
Would you rather amend that, or would you rather do a second one?
Okay, second motion?
Well,
Let's just,
I would
Yeah.
like us to actually look at that.
we will, we'll come right to it, but since we're queued up, let's just go for it. We've got things. Then all those in favor?
Okay. I was on.
Passes 7-0. Can I have a motion on the alternates?
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we need to replace Mr. Bryce Clue, who has resigned, on the Board of Adjustment, and to give us what is required by the city charter of Nassau Bay.
No, and just.
And adjusting it, that replacement to the date as required per the stagger that we have listed previously.
So would you allow me to state that Aurelia will be number 1, Harv number 2, the open seat number 3, and Paul Bird number 4?
Yes,
Okay, and that would be how we would start for those odd would be 2025, and those even would be 2024.
correct.
Do I hear a second? Second by Paula. Any other questions? Any other comments?
So does that assign Bryce Blue Day?
No,
term?
he is not.
Yeah, vacant.
It's just a term.
It's vacant.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's vacant.
It's vacant.
It's an open seat.
I'm clarifying because I just think, I
He
think
can.
you had to.
He had to.
Yeah.
Yep, he did. That's a vacant, open place. And just again, so my understanding, he would be number 3 on there, so that the seat would be replaced in August of 2025, even though it's
Replaced
open.
Through August
Yeah,
2025.
correct,
Yes.
correct. Good. I think we're clear. I believe it was moved by James, seconded by Paula. Any more comments? Any more questions? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Parks and Recreation. So,
Can I start with something on that? There's no
sure,
mistake.
absolutely.
So the first thing is that, Jill Abel and Royce Walker are on Keep Nassau Bay Beautiful, they're not on the Parks Committee. So that, they don't have a term. If you Look
So
at the Keep Nassau Bay Beautiful. like, it's-
Royce and April, is that correct?
No, Royce and Jill Abel.
Oh, Jill Abel. I
The
didn't hear
Keep
that.
Nassau Bay Beautiful people
Ah.
are appointed by the Parks Committee. So they shouldn't be part of the count. There's 11 people on the count, and I believe that paperwork says we have up to 12.
I believe it does too.
Yeah.
I believe
So,
that's my understanding.
Up to, so we don't have to replace other person, but right now I think we're doing with this committee, it's really a lot.
But
Those
so,
two should not be part of that, so they don't have an expiration date, as I remember.
no, there's Jill. So here
But
it is.
they're appointed by. the
So let's,
committee.
so it's, again, who are the two, hang on, who are on the, hey,
Jill
let me
Abel and
finish here,
Ross.
because I want to keep it to this. You said Jill Abel and
Royce Walker.
Royce Walker, so those are not
They're not part of.
parts,
the committee,
they're Keep Nassau Bay Beautiful.
those
And I
are
just wanted to
appointed
count
by-
here, this has October 23 here, but how's the stagger for the count? 1, 2,
On the
3,
next
4,
page, it says
5.
like Josh Lincoln and
5.
Kathleen Huff are 25, so.
So
Yeah.
my question really is, I don't see anywhere in our charter that talks about Park and Recreation Committee.
Or it's
No,
not
it's
a
a-
charter.
Yeah, it's an advisory.
Okay,
committee.
So, and then the only things I've ever found on it is there's ordinance from 1973, an amendment in 1983, an amendment in 1987, and then another amendment in 1994. I brought those papers, I got them through records months ago. I brought those papers and gave them to all council because I'm just trying to get a little clarification on, defining the terms and, the powers of the committee, I guess, because most of the committees have their powers defined. So it doesn't actually say anything about, from what I can tell, about staggering terms.
It is here, what you gave me, it's in here.
Well, it says 2-year terms, does it say?
Yeah, it says September and then the other ones are.
And I do believe it says staggered
Oh, yeah,
terms,
overlapping terms to
Yeah.
ensure continuity and
Correct.
experience.
and I highly recommend we maintain
Of
that.
course, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I
Correct.
didn't see it totally.
Fair enough.
So it says even numbered
A
years.
lot of fresh paint here, sir. I'm even part of that,
I mean, the
so.
1973 thing said there should be a member under age 18.
I second that motion.
I
second that
What's the motion?
The motion is that we revert back to 1973 ordinance of putting
Okay,
someone
let's
under
move forward,
18 years
guys.
old on it.
Like, putting what? Say what?
Somebody
Under 18 years old.
I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, 1973. said-
Although we had a lot of people under age 18. help us out.
Come on, guys, let's keep order here. You're on a roll. Hey, let me put point of order. Just Sarah, keep
Oh,
going.
no, okay, so ordinance in 83, the amendment does say the term of 4 members shall expire on the first day of September. That's right, so the expiration of the members should be in September, according to.
And we gotta just decide whether or not we wanna do it that
Right,
way.
and that's fine, but yes, you're right. Well, and this says 4 members, 5 members, stagger those, but and you can't have 8 to 12 members, which you have,
Correct.
11.
yeah.
There are 11 numbers, right?
11 or
Sorry,
9.
Paul Lopez on the number, he's on here.
11
No,
is
he's
Paul.
not.
Yeah, plus Paul, who's not a,
So we're not following the original chart.
he's not, yeah, he's
Mr.
his
Mayor,
staff.
point of order.
Sure.
The ordinance by which this was done does state that one of these members shall be under the age of 18. There's no amendment to that age stipulation in any of these documents.
Where do you see that still active?
It's not been amended.
So your point is, and I just didn't know if it had been, and I would like clarification on that, because if it's so, then that is so, and we've been in violation since late 1979.
I'm not seeing it referenced, and I'm looking at the code of ordinances, and I'm not
No.
seeing.
This is the 1973
So
one.
they reference it, expiration of terms is referenced there.
Right.
Special events, yes.
There's-
Definitions is not referenced.
Do we have, has anybody reviewed this to make sure it wasn't overturned? I don't really have a problem with it myself.
I actually like it.
I think it's a good idea.
I would actually like to see one under
Because we've
14.
we actually utilize children, like for example.
I know, that's what I mean.
Design that swap.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor, if I can.
Hang on.
We have
Let's-
them participate, just
I
not.
I would like to stipulate that if the ordinance is here, it's on the books as is, as a 9 members, said commission, which is stipulated right here, and it does not have any changes, which I can't find in either this document coming up to 2012.
I would just say we incorporate it, and it's now new news for people, and we should
For
do
our
it.
12 members.
Yeah. You don't have any open ones here, correct?
I think it's a great idea.
So do we want to do again, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and
Mr.
Jill-
Mayor, point of order, sorry, but it calls for 9 members. Did they change it to 12?
they
Yeah,
did,
it says-
they
It said
did,
9 to 12.
87,
Yep.
Sorry. my
Correct.
mic's not on.
they did.
Right, the 87 amendment
No, 8
shows that we changed
Thank
it
you,
to
Tom.
12 members, 2 years.
So-
So the modern day code of ordinances does reference this one.
The code of ordinances,
Yes,
it's
they
a
reference
resolution,
them all, yes.
correct, they do.
So,
What does that say?
It's an
it
advisory.
just references, it'll show you what ordinances are applicable to each of the sections in section 13, which is the Parks and Recreation.
So they're
And,
done.
Mayor, I'd like to point out to you that we have 5 and 6 of the members right now, so the only issue we have is the 23 people. If we change them to 25, we're done. We don't think we need
Do the
to.
numbers flange up
Yes, They
properly?
do.
Do they?
Yes,
So
they
you
do.
have, then, so you
the
would,
23
can we,
25.
could I have a motion to define that, please?
Yeah,
One more thing to say.
Okay.
Okay, so, one thing I've noticed, and it's very odd, is if you look at these ordinances, the 1973 ordinance, the amendment in 83, the amendment in 87, and then the amendment again in 94, it states at the end of the amendment in 94 that they're changing Parks and Recreation, that all reference in the National Basic Code, Chapter 13, Parks and Recreation, Section 13-2, 13-3, 13-4, 35, to the words Recreation Committee shall be deleted and the word Special Events Committee substituted therefore. So what has kind of baffled me is that at one point, these appear to be, that Parks and Recreation was changed and became special events. And I can't figure out, and it's almost like Parks and Recreation was never put back in the code, you know, or it was never, it still existed and it still functions. And I'm not saying it shouldn't exist, I think it should. But I just don't understand how we codified it in some way, because now it appears that it's called special events. And then if you look at
You mean for recreation?
That's just the recreation, not parks.
That's just the recreation part of it. It's supposed to be, I guess, parks
So-
and special events committee.
okay, so, I don't know, it's
We-
done
we-
so poorly.
But it has, there's, you know, that's why I've said I've had enough.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion that we actually change the name of the committee to the Parks and Special Events Committee.
No.
Well, he's making a motion.
I'd like to make a comment that I
Yeah,
don't want to.
let him finish his motion and see if he gets it seconded, but keep going.
The reason behind this is that the number of people involved in this being 12 allows for that same number of people to assist in any of the special events that are occurring across the city.
So do
I'm ready to vote on that.
do we have a second? Do we have a second?
It's too much work.
I'm just asking, do I hear a second? Yep, so I think that answers that.
But I'd like to make a motion.
I hear what you're saying, James, I do.
I'd
So-
like to make a motion that Katie Frazier, Jack Cronin, Michelle Barecki, and Nancy Lynn have their terms extended from October 23 to October 25.
I'll second.
Any other, we're probably gonna do more here, but, let's at least get this done. Any other, I have a move by Lucy, seconded by Michelle. Do I have any other questions or comments for that?
Mr. Mayor, are we striking recreation from the Parks Committee?
No, that's not the motion I hear.
I'm asking a question. Is it what you said?
Yeah, no, I was saying no, it is not in the motion.
This brings the numbers up to what we need for,
And then the 12th one, I promise you guys, I'll get somebody.
and keep 11
Yeah.
out of the whatever total.
Didn't we just put Jack Cronin on?
Yeah, he replaced somebody who was, who left. Who
So
moved.
he took somebody else's,
So he would be
Unexpired.
25.
25.
Took someone else's turn.
okay, so we're just extending him to 25.
All the 23s to 25.
Yep.
Okay.
was the motion.
And that proper stagger, correct?
Jack Cronin's a rock star. He's been in all the-
Yeah, but I'm just wanting to make sure. Is there any other comments to the motion? Then I'm calling, whoop,
I do want to say, eventually we need to make sure we properly codify this stuff in an ordinance. We can talk to Mr. Wright and get all this done to make sure this is properly laid
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
You gotta clear the name out.
my hope is that from what we have, we republish from the most recent ordinance that we have so that we restate those so that it's just very apparent, the definition there.
Right, it's very difficult with the way these ordinances have been, I mean.
Because I have another one after this that I'd like to make sure we're clear on, just so that it is codified in the ordinance. But I'd like to finish
You
this.
can vote on.
Yeah, let's vote on this. And then, so, any other questions or comments?
Who seconded it?
Michelle,
Excuse me?
you
Oh, I
second,
just said
Lucy,
that. I
no, Lucy motion,
I second.
Michelle second. Then all those in favor? Passes 7-0. I would like to hear a comment or a motion concerning having somebody under 18 on,
Mayor, I
on
would like
this
to make a motion that we appoint someone under the age of 18 to the,
12th member of the,
yes, the 12th member of the Parks and Recreation Committee.
I'll second.
I think it should be an option, but not required, but
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's make it an option and not required.
We should always encourage people under 18 who want to participate to.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying a formal person
I know,
though.
as long as I've been chairman.
Because right now, the reason I say that is if, I'm trying to validate what I believe is already codified in the ordinance.
Right.
So if we're saying we want to make it optional, we have to change that. And you'd have to amend the ordinance, which means the motion would not be valid.
Right. I get that. I think it makes sense. I love people under 18. Don't get me wrong.
What's the sense of council here? What's the sense of
But I'd
council?
like to say that I think 2 years, a 2-year term for someone under 18 is a very big
Why don't we
commitment.
just say 1 year?
I have a problem with that, just to be honest. I would love for them to come volunteer, give their time. If we have traceability problems in our code of ordinances, I think we should fix that. And if people want to volunteer and give a 2-year commitment, I think that's great, but requiring a 2-year commitment from a 16-year-old, I just,
And the other thing is too, that,
being hard.
So what do you guys want? I mean,
maybe it's been changed out there somewhere. We don't
I'm
have
just
the
trying
paper.
to, I'm,
You know,
I
we
don't,
have this paper.
I'm of the position, I've got the point here right now. I don't know where it is. I don't think we have to defend whether, I just want to know what we want to do going forward. And this is not a big issue for me. I think it's something where I could go either way. And I'd like to get the sense of council, and then let's just move on.
I like the optional part of it, just because Lucy does have a good point about that. And also because, you know, we've had this before where somebody's pulled out a piece of paper and said, look, and then we found out that actually it really there was some other piece of paper somewhere else where it had been modified since then. So maybe it would behoove us to wait on that and see if there's another piece of paper that, you know, said something different. You understand what I mean? As long as something's
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
I do, but I think it's moot. I'd really like to know whether or not we want to define this and then say, you know, yes or no.
Given our track record of not having any under 18-year-old people participating
Make it
or wanting to
optional?
be in there, I think it's an option.
And that
I don't
I
think
think
we
that's
exclude
reality. I
someone
think
from
that
under
could be-
18,
yeah.
but forcing someone under 18
So could
to
I have,
fill an
do
ordinance
people,
doesn't make
is there a
sense.
consensus here? Do we need to
I
make?
mean, I agree with what Lucy's saying, we're like 2 years in the life of a 15-year-old is a long time. But, I think it requires amendment to we have to amend the ordinance.
Correct.
I think we have to implement the ordinance as it sits. And then next meeting, we can amend the ordinance.
Well, I actually believe we've already amended it for the things here, and if we want to make that optional, like, so let's just do it right now. I don't think we have to wait.
It's not on the agenda for changing the ordinance. For an amendment to the ordinance. It's on the agenda for appointments.
I do have the next meeting.
So we can just table the appointment of the underage.
I just see it says discussion acting, City of Nassau Bay Boards and Commissions. I don't see an ordinance. I don't see any. I think it's
I don't think
all of the above.
I don't think that's adequate for purposes of amending an ordinance.
So but I'd like to not, who do we even put up for that today?
We
Like
wouldn't.
it's-
It would be
Yeah,
vacant. I mean, right? So my understanding here, and I won't take issue, but I would have thought that this was part of what we were going to do. And we had all of the boards and commission, because aren't we amending an ordinance by changing the dates?
No, I don't think you are. I think you're clarifying what the dates are, but if you go change the way.
We're making one optional versus.
I would not do that. I'd do it with an amendment to the ordinance.
So yeah, so the options here that I think we're talking about, just for point of clarity, is either not doing anything, leaving it vacant.
Yeah.
And amending it next month if we so choose,
You can do that.
or we would amend the requirement for an 18-year-old and make it optional, of which our council has said we're a little bit beyond the authority of what the
Do
agenda
we need
is.
an amendment for someone under 18 to join a committee?
No, it already
So,
exists.
right, so
Sorry,
it's
no.
really,
It's an
the optional
optional.
doesn't need to be done, in my opinion.
Yes, that's what I'm
Sorry,
saying. So,
implied,
but
yeah.
it means we leave it vacant for right now.
Either we leave it vacant.
And I
fix
don't need a
the
motion.
ordinance.
And I don't need a
That's
motion
true.
unless we want to clarify,
That's true.
right?
Yes.
So we need to withdraw the motion.
Yeah, we gotta withdraw the
Anybody
motion.
says we don't do Robert's Rules of Order, it's
You
crazy.
need to withdraw the motion.
And the second.
Okay,
You had a motion in a second. You need to either
Withdraw.
torpedo it or withdraw it.
Um,
Changing the dates.
Weird.
Well, yeah, so we had a motion and a second
The motion was
They can be
to
withdrawn.
follow The stated ordinance
Did anyone
of
second
the
it?
day.
It was.
Michelle seconded that.
Then let's just vote it down. All the, you know, all those,
Let's vote for it.
I want to withdraw my second. Can I do that?
You can do that.
point of order,
Okay, I
can we?
just- I
Yes,
just
you
withdrew
can.
my second.
And then,
So then-
I'll second it.
no, just withdraw.
Here's the thing.
You withdraw both
We are-
parts of
We're
it.
just enforcing it, making sure that it's something that we're complying with. If we want to
Exactly.
change it at a later date, if we want to amend it, we can. But right now, we need to make sure that we are enforcing the ordinance that we've got on the books. And if we can start, if somebody wants to volunteer and they're under 18, it's not.
well, what motion do we need to do that? If it's already,
Motion that I
But if we
stated.
want to put them on the committee.
You don't have a
it has to go
candidate.
Before council to be voted on. Okay, they can volunteer all they
so,
want.
so,
right now.
so
But they can
So we
also-
don't even need to do a motion, it's already in the ordinances.
Right.
that's what I
I mean,
understood.
like, why do we have to do a
That's
motion?
exactly right.
What was your, let's just restate the motion and let's make it sure we understand.
My motion was to follow the ordinance and put someone in a position under 18 into that slot of which you have, the council has said that seat will be open and we will decide that at a later
Fair
date.
enough, fair enough,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a vacancy.
Yep, that would,
And I'll second that motion.
yeah, then let's just vote, because that just says, yeah,
Michelle
correct.
withdrew, point of order. Michelle withdrew her second. Chase then followed up and.
Yeah, so right now there's a motion and a second. I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor? 7-0.
No, I voted
Now
for
it's-
Oh, you didn't vote? You abstained?
No. I'm
She
no.
voted against.
Oh, but you're voting against.
6-1.
Okay, 6-1. Sorry, I didn't see
I'm
that.
sorry.
I was going too fast.
Yes, sorry.
And then
Let's
Chase
see.
seconded.
Yes. Economic Development
We
Corporation.
we do need a new ordinance, though, defining the duties of Parks and Recreation, and like defining the role of, we need to get more specific, I mean, at some point doing this, you know.
And then,
Mr. Mayor, can I ask you a question? Underneath that, if I'm correct in this, if this is a chartered committee,
This is not,
if it's not a chartered committee, then we do need to have that done so that they are certified in regards to what.
Yeah, I agree.
the city will do.
I agree, because I would even argue it's been changed so much and people have a sense that we need to make sure everybody's on the same page to eliminate confusion, because I think it's bountiful.
when it comes back, what are you gonna call it? Just confuse
We
the whole
don't have to worry about that tonight.
Okay.
You're right, but
thing. All right.
Yep.
It would be in whatever, okay, all right.
the Economic Development Corporation.
Mayor, I think this is probably the latest ones, because I know,
They are.
um,
So Cindy DeWeese and Brandon Billings,
I'd like to make a motion to extend the term dates for Brandon Billings and Cindy Harold Deweese to May 25.
I'll second.
Mr. Mayor, point of order. if
yeah,
I-
well, but first, there's been a motion and a second,
Right.
and you now want some questions.
Yeah,
James,
I'd
you
like
got
to
it.
answer it. My understanding is that Cindy Louise stepped off the EDC.
No, she did not.
Which one did she step off?
She stepped off of the tourism and the beautification, she stepped off everything so she could stay on the
Okay,
list.
thank you.
Yep. Yep. Same with Don Matter.
Thank you.
Oops, I didn't put that on there.
I think that's all we need to do
I
here.
second Lucy's motion.
Well, no, I think Michelle already has. Any other questions, any other comments? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0, I believe. Speak up if I make a mistake there. The TERS,
I suppose, sorry, back to EDC, at some, dealing with what we're dealing with Michelle later, there will be an opening.
There will.
Council person opening that we will have to fill.
there will. But as of this moment,
But we don't need to worry about that right now.
right now. Oh, boy. The TERS. Look at
Yeah, I
this.
would like to make a motion that we change the dates for Don Matter, Lucy Summer, and Bryce Clute to 2023. And then Phil Johnson, James Abbey, Gary Mawson, and Don Matter to 2024.
Am I on this committee?
Wait a minute, I'm not sure, because I have your email, but I don't have your
My emails are on
name.
there, but
But-
my name
yeah.
isn't.
you
I
know.
am too on
yeah.
this one. Okay.
I know, to my knowledge, I am. but-
That's what I
Okay, sorry
thought.
about
Yeah, I was
that.
gonna
I
say.
had a blank spot, I just put a question.
I motion to put Chase Wardwell's name on this sheet of paper.
Because that brings it to 7,
Yeah,
right?
I don't have an issue with Michelle's motion, except for I think it makes more sense to take the 22s to 24.
I do too.
Oh, sorry about that, thank you. I'll go ahead and amend my motion. So the ones that are 22, 24,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then the 23s,
23 to 25.
since they're unexpired.
No, because
Oh, they're not
December
expired.
23 is coming up.
Okay, so then those three would be.
Those
25.
4.
No, but the three on the bottom.
Yes,
John
correct.
Mayer, Lucy Summer, and Bryce Prue should be 24.
Correct. Right, do I hear, you have a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Paula.
Hold on. Sorry.
Because I can guarantee.
I mean, there's been a motion and a second, but now let's have
No, there's
questions.
a couple important things here, because if there are any reinvestment, ones, that meetings that happen or occur after December 2023, then the people who have been involved in setting up these things up will not be involved in it, or potentially not be involved in it going forward.
Correct.
Potentially.
And that's okay, they'll come for
Yeah, that's okay.
us.
I think that's all right.
Okay.
We just have to do our job in January.
Zena, can you give us the TERS, are there TERS bylaws? Okay,
Yes.
so where- Sorry.
They're-
Oh,
Or the- or the-
They're in the big one.
It's a massive one.
Are y'all keeping up? Are you keeping up? There's gonna be a quiz afterwards.
Okay. Do you have a motion?
Yeah, any other questions,
Sorry,
any other comments?
There was a question.
She said there was bylaws and they would say yes.
I'm just,
You would, and I take it that's a request that you would like them.
we have the right number of people, that's all.
It's correct, we do. Then I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor?
Okay, can I just clarify? It's
Sure.
John Mayer, Lucy Summer, Bryce Prue, all with expirations on December 2024.
Correct, that's what my understanding is the motion.
Okay, yes. Call for
So
vote.
then, 7-0. Special Events Committee, we're,
Okay, this
We're-
is a lot different than what it is in reality. So, the way special events works now is, two of these people have been asked to be removed. That's Nether Rajabi and Ashley Morrow. And we
those are
have,
vacant.
correct. The ordinance, I believe, calls for 8 to 12.
Mhm.
So that leaves 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 3 more people who are actively involved that I would like to add.
Okay,
Chase Waterwall, Michelle Michelli, and Jill Abel.
okay.
With a potential another one, but she hasn't submitted an application or anything. I need to talk to her more.
So you would have 3 of the 4 that you would like to place,
3, yes.
right? And could you
Yes.
name those again slowly and in
Chase.
which locations? You'd have Chase below Michelle
Let's just
Berecki.
make the list and then figure out. if
That's-
That's okay.
Yeah, I am. I'm just want to put it, I'm trying to
Lucy
do a,
Summer, Michelle Berecki,
then Chase Waterwall.
Chase Waterwall,
Yep.
Evelyn
Evelyn
Hung,
Simpson.
Simpson Hung, yep. Keep Mary Beth Talbot,
Yeah, but who's going in Ashley Morrow's spot?
Michelle Michelli.
Michelle Michelli,
I'd like to add Jill Abel,
and then Jill Abel under Mary.
yes.
Okay,
And then, I have another person, but I don't think she submitted. an
so we'll make
application.
that last one vacant,
Sure.
all right? So there's 1 spot vacant. Do you follow us?
No, I got lost.
So let me see,
Yep, go ahead.
I'm just doing the
Mhm.
corrections that you provided. The list of people on the Special Events Committee are Lucy Summer, Chair, Michelle Berecki, Chase Waterwall in place of Nada Rajabi, Evelyn Simpson, and then in place of Ashley Morrow, Michelle Michelli,
Okay.
Mary Nev Talbot, and then Jill Abel, and then underneath Jill Abel, it's vacant.
Okay.
Okay? And I would also propose in any motion that's done, that we would use that hierarchy for, because I don't see any dates over here on stuff like here. It's September, so I would say for a September 24 and September 25, for
That's fine.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'm good with that. I would like to make one more
I just
addition.
need to, I
Yeah.
can't make the motion,
No,
so, yep.
So that's the list, but I'd like
Yep.
to rearrange the list slightly. I'd like Michelle Michelli and Michelle Barecki to be 1 and 2 on the list and renamed as the chairs.
So did you hear that? So you would become third,
Sure. Yeah.
so you would put, so let me just make sure.
Michelli and Barecki.
You'd have Michelle Michelli, Michelle Barecki, Lucy Sommer. You would have Chase Waterwall, Evelyn Simpson, yeah. You would have Mary Nev Talbot. You would then have Jill Abel, and you would have vacant
Correct.
as your 1 through 8.
Correct.
So, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion
Sure.
that we will have in position 1, Michelle Michelli as chair, position 2, Michelle Barecki as chair, their expiration dates being September of 2025. In the position 3, Lucy Summer, her expiration date being 2025. Evelyn Simpson, expiration 2024. Mary Ann Talbot, 2024, and the vacant. Or Jill Abel, 2025, and the vacant 2024.
So just a,
Right, I don't know if that's.
just a potential modification to your motion.
Okay,
I think it would be prudent to have the co-chairs stagger.
oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And that way you would keep it at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, make it simple. And so that number 1 on the list would be 2025, number 2 would be 2024.
Okay,
and
so
just go by
number
that-
1 on the list is Michelle
By that
Michelli,
logic,
2024, is that right, Lucy?
correct.
Sure.
And number 2 on the list, Michelle Barecki, 2025.
No, because we're going by, the hierarchy is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Odds would be 2025, evens would be 2024.
Oh, I got it. Okay, so, which one do you want, Michelle Michelli on 2025, Lucy?
Either way,
Okay,
they're both,
so,
Michelle Barecki's probably.
yeah, let's put Michelle Barecki,
Okay,
since
that's
she's
fine.
been on
Put her
there
as number
longer
one,
and she
yeah.
has more experience.
That's fine.
So we'll put Michelle Barecki as number 1.
Yeah.
Michelle Michelli as
For the
number
25
2,
term.
That works.
right? Lucy as number 3.
I'm waiting for the motion.
I was making it, I'm making a motion.
Yeah, okay.
I'm making a motion. And so number 1 is Michelle Barecki with her term expiring in 2025. Number 2, Michelle Michelli, expiring in 2024. Number 3, Lucy Summer, expiring in 2025. Number 4, Evelyn Simpson in 2024. Number 5, Mary Ann Talbot, 2025. Chase Waterwall would be number 6 in 2024. And Jill Abel would be number 7 in 2025, and then the vacant would be 2024.
I seconded by Lucy.
Okay,
Any other further questions or comments?
and we're still, because we're following ordinance here, we're still short 1 person, right?
Correct.
And it's vacant,
And a vacancy, okay.
1 vacant.
And I know there's someone strongly interested but has not filled out an application.
Yep.
And I've not spoken to her, and
Okay.
Michelle's had not spoken to her.
Just trying to put it on the record.
Yeah. No, I think there's only 1 empty spot. Because at 8 to 12, this would make 8. Yep. And they could go up to 12 if you wanted to, but right now you're saying you're at 8. Okay. I have a second. So it's a motion by Michelle, second by Lucy. Any other questions? Any other comments?
With the understanding that all these people will be told that their terms have been extended. Okay.
Yeah, we,
That should usually be the
Yes,
city
correct.
secretary.
And then they can jump away if they,
there's gonna be some global stuff after this.
okay.
Correct.
Yeah, so one of them, Netta, she did expire, so she was ready to come off. Other than that, I think everyone's aware.
Okay. Call for the vote. All those in favor? We're on a roll. Passes 7-0.
And I just want to note that, you can see on section, Zena provided section 13-2, federal committee, that's really all we have right there is that, piece of paper there telling us about federal investment. If you look, it says ordinance number 73-116, ordinance 83-305, and if you look at the papers I brought, which are supposed to be the papers to do with the Parks Committee, it's just, that's why we were putting each 12 people on the Parks Committee. There's just a lot of overlap there and confusion. So like I said, this is just reiterating that
Correct.
we are referring to the same parts of the ordinance, or the same ordinances we were when we were talking about the Parks Committee, which is wacko.
It is wacko.
Yeah, I mean, these, I don't know how these ordinances feed into the current code of ordinances or our current charter, but
I
if you
believe,
look at these names, specific people with 1974 specific dates, like, that's, I think it's a bigger issue than just.
Mr. Mayor, if I can, I believe that we have a charter review committee that's been already.
we have, this is,
Yeah.
this should be,
So we need to make this list and flag it for these people to.
We're good, right? We're good. Hot task force.
yeah, I even wonder if this is necessary.
Yeah, and Melinda Vince is no longer in the building. There's another person.
Christie isn't at the,
No, she's still there. No, she's still there, but, I mean,
I don't think so.
is she isn't?
Whatever, keep going.
So,
Anyway.
I mean, let me back up on this. The things here was to kind of look at some of the events and whether or not, these should be organized so that we can say, do we want to give to the Keels and Wheels? Do we want to give to the rodeo? Do we want to do the things along that line? And I'm not so sure we really need a task. It's a task force rather than a committee anyways.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to eliminate this hot task force.
Second,
I have a second by Lucy. Do I have any comments, questions?
I just have questions on how will we evaluate? I mean, we have something on our website. Okay, so every hot tax spending you do, the applications will come before council? Is that what you're saying?
I would, I like that. I mean, one of the things I would even like to see is have things come to the city secretary up to a certain dollar amount and then have that come organized and just come to council for a vote every budget.
So I'll amend my motion that I would like to, make a motion to eliminate that hot task force and instead requests for hot funds go through the city secretary and then be sent to the council for a vote
In the budget,
in the budget,
for budget purposes.
for budget purposes.
Hot fund applications.
Hot fund
Hot fund
application.
applications.
Correct.
So I second that.
Well, Lucy already said it.
Lucy already second. Any other questions? Any other comments? Then I call for the vote. 7-0. We need a break. Need some tea.
water.
NASA Area Management District, I believe, quite honestly, and if I remember, there are bylaws of the management
Yeah.
district, and it is separate from council.
Yes.
It is.
This is not something that is in our jurisdiction
That's
to
true.
define.
I'm just taking.
And there should be bylaws,
They are.
and that I would suggest we do. I mean, we cannot do
Right.
anything there.
Because that's handled by Sue Darcy.
Okay, do we know if positions 5, 6, and 7 have had their terms extended? Is this something we need to alert the?
I may not have updated, but I know they do stay on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Sue Darcy is kind of like the administrator for this, like our city manager is and city secretary, and she keeps pretty tight track of that.
It's their control.
But it's their control unless somebody, we control who goes on there. This is June, so the only thing, we just need clarification on that, because if there's an expired term, it's the
Right.
jurisdiction of this council to put a expired term person on. If there's an unexpired term, it is within the powers of the NASA Area Management District.
Correct.
Remember
Okay.
to replace that unexpired portion. We just need clarification.
So, Mr. Mayor, are you
Move
saying
on.
that position 5, 6, and 7, with their terms having already been terminated as of June 23?
We need to check.
Yeah, what I'm saying is we need to
Sure.
clarify that.
Sure.
I believe Sue Darcy would have let us know if we needed to do that And I believe we'll be good here. I would actually just say, let's just clarify with Sue.
I agree with that.
Let's just clarify with Sue. Next one's a task force, Palm Tree Task Force.
This actually should be the palm tree and landscape.
And landscaping, that's what I remember.
And that takes care of what goes on out there, on Nassau Road One, all the landscaping and palm trees out there, that's what it was for.
And this is the one Cindy is no longer on. Okay,
How many members does this require?
I think it's a task force. I think this was just, it could be anything. I believe there's little structure here on this task force.
So, Mr. Mayor, then it's an unchartered, committee.
It is, it's unchartered, not even it's not even a committee, it's a task force. Which means I don't believe there's any terms or anything like that set on it.
No, I didn't have a structure.
Doesn't have a structure, so, and I believe every one of those are,
There is, I mean, we're, now that I'm not on council anymore, I have a lot of time to do it.
I didn't hear it say that
I'm
again.
just trying to ask her when the last time this committee met.
It was last year, and I told her that, I'll have a lot more time for it now that I'm not on council.
Yep. And quite honestly, I think a lot of this was being done, waiting to see what we do with the monument.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask you a
And the
question?
palm trees, which we got the palm trees.
We
but
got
we
the
still
palm
need to
trees
work on
coming
the
in,
palm.
so we just have to do landscaping.
Yeah, it's
Well, yeah, I put in the budget that we would have,
correct.
the curbs painted up there. I've got some free trees that we can maybe put out there. A lot of the bushes are dead. We just got the EDC to pay for 20 more palm trees. And there was a plan that was done by a consultant about doing all of the landscaping, even on the Nassau Road One, like toward,
It was.
toward the Nassau Bay side. So that's
Laura Griffith.
Laura Griffith did that,
Did it.
right?
Yep.
And so that was the
Back
idea,
in
was that we would also
2000,
do, every
2001.
entrance would be like uniform and beautified. And
Yep.
some of that kind of crossed over with the Keep Nassau Bay Beautiful Committee. So, once we get to bigger things like the replacement of the sign when it comes down, the monument, when that monument comes down, we were talking about replacing it with like a nicer thing, that would look, beautiful. And that's like what we're gonna do going forward, basically. Kind of be cohesive.
Who does this task force report to? Is it directly to council?
Yeah.
It is, it's the council.
So anything
In
we
fact,
do in
all
there would be like
committees
advisory.
report to
Okay,
council.
fair.
I want to clarify that at the end because I want to.
Except for special events,
And task
well, I mean,
Correct. Yeah. So leave this one alone?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that'd be good. So 5 members.
5 members, yep. The Charter Review Commission, I believe, is right. The only thing is it starts November 1st till May 1st. Is that what it is? June 1st?
Goes through the end of April.
Yeah. And then the Infrastructure Committee, that's correct, Don Matter has resigned. And I believe that's exactly correct. So just for people, what we're doing is, on the Infrastructure Committee is Gary Mossman, Phil Johnson, Rod Molyneux, Scott Klein, Dave Casper, who is our city engineer, who's a 1099 contractor or consultant, and Lucy Summers, Henry Domingo, Brian Whiting, and also Paul Lopez.
And there's no terms on that, or?
This is I believe this is,
Task force, right?
it was always a committee, and I actually think it should, this is, we need to define terms here. This needs to be more structural. I believe it's always been a committee. Millions of dollars go through this committee.
So maybe we need to codify it in our ordinances?
I think we do. I would absolutely do that, and I would even just take this from a standpoint of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, except for Dave Casper and Paul Lopez. And I would even like to entertain a motion that would establish Lucy as the chair.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a
I'm cool with that if
motion
there's an O on
that-
summer.
That we keep the U, that Lucy, Johanna Summers, is made the chair of the CIP Infrastructure Committee, and that the Infrastructure Committee is codified underneath ordinances at a later date, and that we follow the numbering after Lucy as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as we stipulated previously.
So just to be clear on that, that means number 2 would be Gary Mossman,
Correct.
number 3 would be Phil
Correct.
Johnson, Ron, Scott,
Yes.
Dave, Lucy would be Skip, Henry, Brian. Yeah,
Dave Casper would be moved to staff. since he
Staff,
is
correct. correct, that's correct.
And that their terms would be also listed as we have stipulated previously in.
2024 for even.
Correct.
We don't have a month. You know,
I would
January?
like, yes.
Do it 26 and.
the only thing I would say with that,
Actually,
I would really like
It would
it.
be November 1.
No, can I make a different argument for that? We generally go through the budget cycle for this, and the infrastructure, committee should be in place and doing things, and, coming into that May, June, July, it should be all set, and it shouldn't change, things, so.
My view is that if we do that and we do the stagger, and they start in the date of November 1, every member then would be involved in that.
And if we do it 2024 and 20, that would actually work. It work.
So
That would work. I would agree with
I'd
that.
like to have the date start as November 1,
Yep.
so that these individuals are instituted.
Yeah, fair enough.
As listed.
Fair enough.
That's my motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Paula. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yep. So, any other questions, any other comments? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Bear with us, folks, bear with us.
Another task force.
Street task force. I'll take this one. Right now, my understanding, this is wrong. It is myself, Henry Domingo, and Aaron, not Drin Boyd, Aaron Boyd are the 3 members of the task force. Just to give people some, information here, this is one committee that receives the half cent, or is it a quarter cent? It's a quarter cent, or a quarter cent tax. And they work with Paul Lopez in particular in identifying areas for street repair, things along that line. So, those are the 3 people that are on it at this point.
So then we're missing one person then on that,
Are we?
correct?
What's the requirement?
There was no requirement.
Do we need
No.
terms or we?
I would think we should put terms in, because right now there's 3, and if we want to broaden it more, I'd always say you'd want an odd number.
Yeah.
So if we either stay at 3 or go to 5.
Wait, who's not on this anymore, did you say?
Greg Schneider, John Haugen are not on it, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion that we, number 1,
Paul's still on.
follow.
Yeah, Paul's, he's staff.
Institute a terms as stipulated previously, the listing of 1, 2, and 3. Those individuals being Phil Johnson 1, Aaron Boyd is 2.
Aaron.
Aaron. And Aaron Boyd is 2, and, Henry Domingo as number
I
3.
don't see Henry on here.
He's not listed.
He was put in, that's what I'm saying, is I know this one for a fact.
They would be staggered as per the odds and evens, as stipulated that there'll be correct me if I'm wrong, on this, a open seat and staff member, which would be Paul Lewis.
And I believe these are codified because there
He
are,
has a fiduciary duty.
yeah, correct. Okay.
I'll second.
Yeah. So could you repeat the motion again, please?
Yes, my motion is that we codify the street task force underneath ordinance at a later date,
Mhm.
that the members consist of 1, Bill Johnson, 2, Aaron Boyd, 3, Henry Dominguez, and that those are followed into the odd and evens, as we've stipulated previously, for their term
And
periods.
for clarification, person, odds are 2025, November 1st, 2025,
Correct.
even is November 2024.
Correct.
Okay.
And that we will be able to, if needed, add to it as required.
Okay.
That is my motion.
then seconded by Michelle. Any other further questions? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor? Passes 7-0.
Last but not least.
Is that the last one?
Tourism.
Tourism.
I'll speak to the tourism committee, because since I probably been the only meeting that.
I mean, all I can say is, this is all wrong.
It's all wrong.
It's all wrong. Do we even still need a tourism committee?
No. We could move, like, the people that were left on the committee were Joyce Abbey and Janice Balsamo, and we could move them to, the hot committee if we wanted to.
Oh, we got rid of the hot
Oh, we
committee.
did, okay, then yeah, I think we get rid of this.
I
because
really
we only
do.
Met like one time, and it was really, I don't know, I think if we get rid of that.
Yep.
Move to eliminate the court.
Yeah, I hear Chase, he moved, seconded by Chase moved, James seconded. Any
May
further
I have a
comments?
question? Yes. This is not documented anywhere. It's just something that's organically happened and
Correct.
we took recommendations.
I don't think
from.
It
Yeah.
wasn't even a committee, it was like a task.
It was, they called it a committee, but it was,
It wasn't,
I mean, I don't,
it wasn't, so.
Call for the vote.
yeah, call for the vote. All those in favor?
I need some clarification.
Well, okay, so we,
I just, why was this committee formed?
The former tourism.
If-
manager.
if I remember, there was some real confusion. There's confusion here because the hot one was supposedly for big projects, little ones were the tourism committee, and they've kind of blended back and forth in their responsibilities, and they both kind of do a little bit of the same.
We don't think this would be valuable, like if we do these, upgrades to the Hilton with the hot funds or.
I actually think that should be right at council. Those are serious money, serious money.
And a lot of these people on here don't even live in Nassau Bay and don't even work at the places
And
that they were working at before.
Yeah,
So most of these people don't even live here.
Oh, because
To have them
we're
decide
local.
where the money's spent instead of council deciding where the money's spent, I think it should be to council.
I really
Maybe
believe
council
that.
needs to have a task force like we're having right now, a workshop, and then
Pardon me?
have that go before.
Yeah, so I'm trying.
Do we know which ones of these are residents and which are not?
Melinda Mintz is not a resident, Donovan Blossom is not a resident, I don't think Tommy Wright is, I'm not sure who Eric Blanchard is. Brittany Crosson was not a resident.
Oh, he's.
And actually, the chair was a staff member who's no longer here.
Yeah, I have a motion to
Remove.
remove this committee on here and a second. Any other further questions? Any other further comments? Then I call for the vote. All those in favor? I see 6.
I'm abstaining, or I'm not voting against, because I would like to talk to, there's a lot of people. on
There are a lot of
this
people.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I'm aware from this committee, Bob Wilkerson, I believe Spencer, I believe Sandy, I believe Ashley have all resigned
Yeah.
from this, right?
Did not resign.
Oh, I thought you had.
No, and many of us did not resign.
So-
We tried to reschedule the meetings after Kristen Edwards, her departure. And we tried to reschedule a meeting 5 times, and there were many reasons, as Ms. Councilwoman Weller knows. And it just never happened, and then we were never notified of a new schedule or a new meeting. And it just kind of dissolved, and we were never notified of a new meeting or any further notifications of anything.
Yeah, she just left and the committee like.
Speak up.
Well, she did just.
Yeah, I don't mind asking that. So I've had a committee, well, go ahead, Lucy.
Yeah, Spencer, I'd like to know your perspective on the value of this.
So the value of it was working as a liaison with local businesses, NASA, the hotels within the community to bring outside tourism in, whether it was for the marina, for NASA, to bring individuals from Houston to the community to see what we have as a community with the marina, real estate, to bring them in, to bring in younger families, re-gentrify the community through different activities, through events that we have going on within the community, to utilize our businesses, to partner with NASA to bring them into the community for various reasons. to beautify the community in different ways, to use hot funds in order to do that.
For the tourism
For
committee?
tourism. So in certain ways, and so there, you are right, Councilwoman Weller, that there were individuals on the committee that were not residents. For instance, hotel representatives, Blanchard, who is a representative of NASA. They were rebranding at the time. It was a new committee, I will say that. And so we were.
The tourism committee? was
Yes,
this?
we were in our first year, in 2022.
Mr. Mayor,
You took that.
sorry, Spencer,
Yes.
very good point on that. I appreciate that piece. For what you discussed right there, that actually sounds more like economic development.
Yeah.
In
It really
regards
does.
to bringing people in and kind of moving people in, kind of a piece to really bolster business and the law, to that.
And when was the Economic Development Committee formed?
Those.
1998.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so maybe what we might need to do is to look at the activities underneath that, the tourism, if you will, and have some representation.
It would-
But I think we could go about the same way with the hot funds committee, where people can make proposals instead of having this committee of people who are deciding things that, because like right now, Keep Nassau Bay Beautiful and the Parks Committee are doing a lot of that. Economic Development Committee are doing a lot of that.
James.
So what I'm saying is that we have a committee that is chartered, that can be doing some of these activities, that's what I'm.
And they have money, their own
And
money.
there's money behind that to allow us to actually go out and do that, of which we've actually done some of that.
Mhm.
We awarded the grant to Job Out. We are looking at awarding other grants to attract businesses in. So I think this is an area most definitely that could be incorporated underneath the Economic Development Corporation and potentially expanded to partner outside folks to it, like Space Energy.
I hear that.
I
but
totally
think that-
disagree.
I
I
think
totally
that,
Well, hang
disagree.
on.
like, the hotels and EDC are exclusive of each other.
I agree.
So,
I don't think so, because they're bringing money into the city,
they are.
which is
But
economic
shouldn't
development.
EDC be worried about future development, not their own bottom line, like the hotel would be worried about, which would be the tourism?
I think that
I mean-
those hotels should be promoting themselves.
Exactly.
But
right. I don't
quite
care
quite
about that.
honestly, and this is probably one that runs into cross currents where there's
Well,
basically 3 or 4 committees that this kind of goes cross current
Correct.
with, right?
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm worried we have too many committees for
Correct.
these things, even this was all good intent.
And I think maybe there is some overlap, of course. And
Yeah.
I think maybe there's an opportunity here to have some of the individuals that were on the tourism committee, maybe work with some of the existing committees and some of the ideas
Yeah.
that were within the.
I
tourism
think that's
That
right.
is
Work with
exactly-
the economic development committee, with the relationships that were already
They're under the
built.
questions. Somebody's asked this question.
Or
Are they
by
Correct.
some of those. I can bring some of that back, I can help with that.
Mayor, point of information, please.
Yeah.
Who has the floor? Is this open?
Well, we asked him a question,
Yeah,
so.
I'm sorry, I didn't ask
We asked him a
for
question.
information.
So right now, there is a motion to, dismiss this committee, and it has been seconded, and then there was a question, which we have been vetting out that question. And, if I chime in here, I think that's actually a decent suggestion. I don't believe we need a separate committee for it, but I would like to see how, with some of these people here, we try to incorporate that into other committees.
Mr. Mayor, if I can please.
Later.
Because the motion that I made was that this is dissolved and that we would absorb activities of this underneath potentially expanding the EDC.
But I think it goes back to, we can't do that here, but it needs to be codified.
Correct.
I agree with that.
Can we kind of approach the members of this tourism committee, see if they're still interested in being involved, and maybe have the tourism committee report to the EDC? Or attend.
So the EDC is a separate corporation?
I know, but.
And I mean, what I guess I would look
The
at,
meetings
So
are-
when do people report to council? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
these people are supposed to
Well,
report to
EDC
council.
reports to council too.
Right, so why would we have another committee reporting to another committee?
Well,
Doesn't make any sense.
I like,
Actually, the EDC is a separate corporation where 4 members are part of that, and the projects have to be approved by
I mean, why
council. but
can't
they
any
don't
one of these
report to
people just come in and join in one of these other committees that have openings? Or come in and make presentations like the Java Owl did?
Mr. Mayor, I made a motion.
it. Yes,
The question.
so you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. The EDC, is that at its max? Is that defined right
It
now?
is, it is
It's
defined.
And there are no vacancies on the EDC. at
There
this
are no
point.
vacancies on the EDC.
So the EDC does not allow for someone who works for a hotel to be part of that
It
advisory.
does not.
committee. That's
Who are?
I think that's the unique thing about this committee that we're missing.
Mhm.
But we could go back and look at the EDC for incorporation of that.
I personally, and this is no disrespect to the tourism committee or any of the people there, because I just don't think, I never thought the hot funds worked well as a committee either.
Yeah.
I actually think we should dissolve and reconstitute something that we really want. Redesign it.
Yeah.
That's, and we can do that next one, but I'd like to clean this up and then come back to what we want. And that goes, I think, to your motion, James.
Right.
And I think the original committee would appreciate that, and we
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm happy to do that.
Then let me call, and then any other questions? Then I'd like to call for that vote. Are you
I do
clear?
have a question, sorry. The charter review committee, this would not be part of their purview. It would be something that we would
Well,
propose and bring back to council.
They certainly, let me put it this way, the charter review committee has no boundaries.
Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, the only boundary they have is whatever they recommend has to be approved by the voters on a referendum.
That's true.
So they have no boundaries.
Well, I just want to say that it seems since this committee is new and hasn't really had a chance to operate, we're going to find a way. That's part of this motion to incorporate things together.
Something like that.
All right.
Right. Yeah,
Okay, right.
okay?
Okay.
Because
I'm sorry, I want to do a motion here.
The motion is to dissolve the tourism committee and absorb those activities and potential members into other committees as stipulated
We're gonna have.
and allowable by the EDC as a separate corporation.
That's not fair.
I don't
Can
know
I
if we
make a
can,
motion?
yeah. Do I hear a second?
I can pull out the EDC stuff.
Yeah.
We can easily dissolve the
I mean,
tourism committee.
so what I would love to hear as
And
a
that we-
motion would be just what James said, and said that this is either going to be absorbed into other committees or a redefined committee at
Later
as soon as, at the latest, at a later date.
There it is.
Yes.
That's what I'd like to see.
I'd like to make a motion that we dissolve the tourism committee as it is and work to find a redesign of that committee that makes more sense for what we want to do
I
across
second.
things, EDC and
Yep,
There you go.
everything else we have going.
moved by Lucy, second by James.
Are we gonna put a time frame on that?
I wouldn't at this point.
They got a second.
We had a
I'm just
motion
looking at
second.
so much
Yeah.
going on right
They-
now, I
they
wouldn't put an
withdrew
exact
They
time,
did not withdraw.
Well, they-
unless you say like
Effect.
3 months,
Make it happen.
6 months. Because we're going into the holidays,
To
folks.
be defined over the next.
We withdrew the old motion and put this as the new one, right?
We had a motion and second originally.
But
Yeah,
that-
correct,
that's
and
been-
it got
It was
withdrawn.
I did
withdrawn.
not hear, so they both.
No,
I did withdraw.
Yeah, he
So
withdrew.
Lucy made another motion, and Lucy, can you repeat that, please?
Sure. I'd like to make a motion that we dissolve the tourism committee as it currently stands. And that we look into a redesign of this committee into something that has influence across numerous other
Or
committees. and
into
businesses.
other
Yes,
committees,
or into other committees, but we need to figure out what makes the
Yeah.
most sense.
correct,
So we design,
at a later
that
date.
we
that was-
redesign the committee.
And the only other amendment was suggested was, should we put a 6-month timeframe?
I'm okay with that, yeah.
Yeah,
I think we can put a time on it.
Just as to clean things up, I never withdrew my initial motion.
With all delivered.
Straight up eliminated, so.
It's like-
Thank you.
So everybody's-
and we thank you for your support.
I don't go for that.
So do I hear, Lucy has a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Yep, second by James. Any further discussion? Please say no. Then all those in favor? Passes 7-0, I believe. Yep.
Yeah.
Good
Yep.
good job. That it?
Yeah.
Is there no
We're not-
animal control advisory
Excuse
committee?
me, no, there's.
I am not aware of one.
Mr.
That's,
Mayor, if I can, this is something that is stipulated by the state of Texas, of which we have not constituted. Is a requirement by law by the state of Texas Department of Health. and
so you want to
Human
create
Services.
one?
It is, we have to have one.
Yeah, is that something we can do underneath here, or is that?
This is
Probably need an ordinance.
We need an ordinance.
We need an ordinance.
This is a committee stipulated by the state. If
Yeah.
we have an animal shelter.
So, okay,
And with that there has to be, the people that are involved. In
so
this,
we're in default.
We are in default,
But then we can do it tonight, James. You're gonna have to come forward with an ordinance that's properly
So,
posted.
so,
but it's not an ordinance. What we're doing is we're codifying the state.
but we need the code. for
You're
that.
still gonna have to have an ordinance to do
Yeah,
it.
I'd like to see the state code. that language.
Me too.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, I thought it was included with this, was it not?
It
I
was
did
not.
not, I apologize, I did not.
I'm sure Mr. Gregg has created these ordinances before.
So all I would say
The
is,
ordinance, if I may, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
The requirement is stipulated on dishes, so I'm happy to circulate that post
so,
meeting.
so what I would, well, this is what I would suggest, and maybe here's a consensus that I would bet you it's, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak for anybody, but I believe that the unanimity is if this is a state requirement, we're going to need to create this, and we need to have had it codified for December meeting. How's that?
Yes,
That's fine.
Then we don't have to take an action, we just.
Correct.
Yeah,
Can you send us the code?
I will
Yeah.
send you the code.
yeah, but it'll be for a December discussion,
Correct.
okay?
Good.
How's that?
Fine. Good.
Then I believe we are done, unless there's some global things that we want to have. I just want to, I have one, because every time I've heard this, there's been ambiguity around whether or not these committees report to city manager or it reports to council. And my understanding, and I'd really like to resolve this, is that everything these spend has to be approved by the city manager, because that's part of our charter for any expenditures, but that they report to council, each and every one.
What I was told when I first got on the committee, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, that the city manager would approve anything $5,000 or below, unless it was
That's-
something like when we brought the dog park sign up or something like that. Any kind of like, placement of a monument, or like when we put the moon trees in, even though those like started out at $5,000. Those kind of things had to be run by council. But anything, but I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I was told when I first got on the committee.
My understanding is that there's even a higher threshold now.
Yes.
I believe it's either 30,000 or 50,000. 50,000, that as long as it's a budgeted item, then the city manager has complete authority to be able to do those. Doesn't even need to come to council. If it is
I was just
unbudgeted,
kind of doing that by bringing the dog
if it
park
was,
home.
if it was unbudgeted, it has, these are advisory things, like if we're doing a master plan, if we're doing things that is considered new, that has not been approved in a budget, then those all come to council as part of the budget cycle or an amendment to the budget. Or correct me if I'm wrong. All
So
right.
like, for example, when we were gonna do the fall sweep, and we added in like a bounce house and for $200 and some pizza, we didn't have to run that by council because it was under the threshold.
And yeah, and there's also funds for those
We're getting
There's
off
already
track.
funds set aside.
She's just
in the
getting
budget for the fall
clarification
sweep. Is that correct?
on those.
Okay, so I wanna make sure that's clarified.
Paula?
Now that we've cleaned all this up, I have a couple of requests. I'd like for us to, there's applications for commissions, boards that are standard.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I
Okay.
just want to make sure that we're clear on that, and that,
Okay.
and if I could have I don't know if we need a
Oh, we
motion
can.
for that, or if that's just
Just see if
clear.
there's- you don't need a motion, just see if there's any disagreement.
Is there any disagreement with that? Because I really don't want there to be disagreement with the citizens either. Because I really want this to be simple, clear, unambiguous.
That's fine.
Okay, then
Okay.
go ahead.
The issue, we have a thing on our website for applications for committees and boards. I would like to see that be across all of the boards instead of just certain committees, so that people know how to volunteer. I would like to know, I would like to have the committees and the names and their expiration dates, posted on the website so we can anticipate, start to gather community input on who and when. And I would like a general calendar. When I went to look at the website tonight, it has date by date, but it only goes to the end of the month. It would be helpful if, since some of these committees meet monthly, on a certain date, that we have a month-to-month visual calendar with those slots filled in, so we know if we want to attend.
Sounds like you would like to make a motion.
Oh, I can do that, if that's what you need.
Well, Mr. Mayor, if I could use your comments, just, my understanding is we've already approved that we were going to redo the webpage.
Yeah,
So that
but
is part of, that's part of.
But I think, yeah, I think it's good to reiterate it, just to be
We did
forward.
approve, just so you're aware of it, we did approve to redo the whole city website.
But she wants to have some specificity to it.
I would like the application process to be across the board for all committees. I would like,
So
I'm
can I-
gonna
can I-
make a
can I-
motion.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, but I might,
okay,
in
tweak it.
your motion, can we quantify some things here, which is saying we would like to have the city publish in the Compass Rose at least 1 month prior, if not maybe even more, or having 3 consecutive months prior to when it opens up, so that people can fully understand when those committees have applications, so we can get the flow.
So you're
In
talking
there.
about just applications, not meetings?
Well, I would like to see the application process across the board. I would like to see the meetings posted on the calendar, month to month, 6 months out.
I think that would be
I would
fantastic,
like to
but the
disagree with
requirement's only
that.
72 hours. And so if someone's saying, let's schedule a meeting sometime next week, you can't,
But if
I
we,
think that makes it difficult.
yeah,
It's
I don't
very
think they have
difficult
to be
to
posted.
Posted 6 months out. That is
But if we
extremely
know that
difficult.
the safety committee is gonna be every Thursday or
Yeah.
second Thursday, those things can be posted.
So
that
let's
we're
be
aware.
clear, so we're not,
Right.
saying the same thing and meaning two different things. I believe you're saying for any meeting that is known.
Right.
And you can't know every single meeting because people meet not regularly at specific dates.
So can we do it when the agenda is posted? Because having run the committee for almost 2 years now for the Parks Committee, there's a lot of things that can
Yeah,
change the meeting dates, like for
I
example, a
get it.
budget meeting.
So we're in agreement that for those that are known, so if you post the agenda, whatever, that would be there. But for like the EDC or other ones, there are very known times, or for the safety, there are very known times that should be on the calendar.
Okay.
If they're known, they should
As
be
soon
on
as
there.
the agenda's posted, then they can put that.
As soon as they are known, if they're either posted before we know without an agenda being posted, city council is gonna meet on the second Monday of every one. So we don't need to wait till the agenda is posted in order to be able to have on a calendar that we're meeting on the second
Well, the only
Monday.
problem with that is like when we had one time where we had to change the meeting for the parks because something came up with the budget.
So we
or
then,
something.
but then we
So then
change.
people showed up for the other meeting because, it was posted.
We're
as a
starting to
packet.
drift
We had a
there.
special events
We're starting to
committee.
drift.
during
Yeah, we are.
council time.
Councilwoman Foster, may I amend your
Well, she hasn't fully made it yet, so
Yeah.
hang on.
Well, and to that, like, we have a coffee coming up that's already been canceled. It's still on the calendar. So I think if we put on our calendar and when things change and cancel, you mark it, people will be better aware to go. If we have a calendar that works, people will be more aware. So my motion is that we make the application that's on the website an application for all committees,
Posted in the Compass Rose,
posted on the website. and
3
in the-
consecutive months prior to the date in which we're going to do it.
Okay, I'd like to see that all of the committee names and terms are posted on the website, so we're aware of vacancies. I mean, it would say vacancy, and I would like to, have a calendar that
Of all
is
known.
12 months out, that whatever is on there is, potential for a
Any
meeting.
known
as soon
meeting
as we know
is
it.
put on the calendar for a
Right.
12-month calendar.
Councilwoman wants me to make an amendment to that, if I could.
Sure.
Can we add in there that the application for these, like you said, are standardized, and a link is on every committee page?
Perfect.
Yeah.
With the names and, absolutely,
Yeah, for a
I'll
link,
accept
for
that
so you
amendment.
have the digits.
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
Second by James. Any further questions or comments? Then I call for the vote.
No, who was in charge, who does this?
Supposed to be city secretary. City secretary.
Okay, so Zena, your job right now. Just wondering, I just wanna know who's tasked with all this stuff.
Yes, it'd be the city secretary.
Okay, thank you.
And if that's not clear, I'd ask for the motion to be amended to such.
Can we amend the motion to say that it by the city
By the
secretary?
city secretary.
please?
Yep.
Sure.
Or their delegate.
Or delegate.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions? I'm calling for the vote. All those in favor? 7-0.
Get that website.
Gotta love it. All right. I believe that ends our workshop on committees. 5-2, discussion and action, accept council acceptance of the resignation of council member Weller for position number 6. Okay. I wanted this, not only do I wanted this discussion because there's a lot of confusion. I've had, my phone blew up around why doesn't it, when somebody tenders a resignation, why does council accept it? And what happens if somebody tenders and that, and it's really meant to start a clock. And I wanted the city attorney to kind of go over some of the mechanisms of what will take place if we accept this, because it is very clear in our charter, and I wanted it on the public record. I want these in the minutes so that people understand it. Okay?
The charter provides that once the commission, the resignation is accepted, the clock starts, and it's a 30-day clock, and you have that length of time to fill the vacancy by appointment. If you don't fill it within 30 days, then it has to be done by election. So it's a critical 30 days. You don't have a choice to put it off beyond that period of time. So you either fill it tonight or sometime within the next 30 days, with the day being the start.
Yep. And then correct me if I'm wrong, even after that, you have to give 60 days to be able to actually affect an election.
That's a different issue, but yes.
But I'm just saying, so that what that would mean is we have to, if we don't elevate somebody, and we're not going to do that tonight, but is if we elevate, somebody, or we don't, and let's say it that way, it'd be like an election will occur in March 1st for the same position that's going to have an election like May 1st.
You're talking about May, not March.
May election,
The special election.
It's still, they're only two uniform election days.
May.
You'd still be in May.
So it would be unexpired. That's not what I understood.
Well,
My understanding is
You
that
have to have elections on special election days.
Uniform election
There's
days.
a uniform calendar for those.
so we would have an unexpired term until May.
Yeah, and when you fill this vacancy, you fill it for the unexpired term.
Yeah, I get that. But so the special election wouldn't be like in March 1st or whatever. It
No.
would be the uniform date.
In the old
We would
days, you
have
could pick your
no-
time, but nowadays,
We'd have-
for the last several years, you've had to pick on a uniform
So
date.
we'd only have 6 members on council for those 6 months.
That's correct.
Okay. I want that as part of the public, on the minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So, with this, do I hear a motion to accept Councilman Weller's position number 6, letter of resignation?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like the motion to accept Councilwoman Weller's letter of resignation.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Chase. Any other comments? Any other questions?
Comment is, Councilwoman Weller, I would like to thank you for your service. I'd like to thank you for all that you've done for the city in relationship to the Parks Committee, education, and your independent time to ensuring that the city has been unified. I look forward to you having a successful career, although you have to drive into Houston now.
Yeah, through the traffic.
And you get to spend more time with your mom traveling. In addition to that is, look forward to seeing you on these committees that you helped establish.
I would like to even do something more here. I went back just to kind of try to trace some of the things that you've had your fingers in and that you've helped push or champion. And I've got 4 main ones, and I would like to just thank you for your efforts here. which is on the Parks and Recreation. If people don't realize, we have 3 new playgrounds that have been installed during your time frame. A new ball field, a new volleyball court, fresh paint throughout the parks, a new jogging track, a new gazebo. The Founders Parks, Gardens and Landscaping, including the moon trees, all that right up through there. The sundial. And that, I mean, the moon trees up in the park itself. I'll come back to that. The sundial and the new ADA access into not only David Braun, but into Swan Lagoon. On beautification, the fall sweep and beautification day, we've had, I think I've been counting, and this is a lot of groups, but a lot of it has been in the coordination with Parks and Recreation, and a lot of what you personally have done is we've removed 5,000 dead plants and we've planted about 4,200. In those, we have 26 palm trees and 20 more that are going to be going up. The medians and esplanades and the end caps on a lot of the north-south roads, the renovation of the unicorn in front of Queen's Court. And I believe somebody was helping you with the ladder with that?
Yeah, pizza.
Just the painted street curbs and power washing around the city, like even towards Bell Harbor. I believe you've been the big champion behind code enforcement. So thank you for that. You've if you look at the full-time code enforcement officer that's now in our budget is part of that effort. And I think everyone's seen the number of new businesses, the SDRs that have been shut down, and the Arafat property is all part of that position. And then the last thing is your small town vision, or I should say commitment for the incomparable Nassau Bay, as I like to say. You were probably the person who first came up that the smoke shop was coming in and helped stop that. The space heritage, and this is where I was meaning about the moon trees, and the strong vote against the incorporation of Houston versus our small town atmosphere, things along that line. All of those, and last but not least, the involvement of the Astros being here, so that all our kids could be part of that. You had your finger in all of those, and I really appreciate the work that you did.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I feel like, I'm sad to go. This opportunity came up. It was just, they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. And I'll be traveling with that job too. So, we got so much done. I mean, almost everything. And you forgot about the monument coming down. That was one thing that everybody's door I knocked on, they said, take that thing down. So we're going to do that too. We have Zena here and we have Nathan here. And I feel like our city's in good hands with those two. And I feel like it's time for me to go.
For everyone,
Said in my job.
at our regular November 13th meeting, there will be as I like to say, juice and cookies. What I understand, it's a charcuterie board and dessert for that time, and we'll have just a send off you on the 13th. Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Everything that the city staff has done for me and all of you, especially you, the mayor. I couldn't have done any of this stuff without you. Because I usually came with the ideas and organized it, but then you made sure that it all happened and you got it pulled together. And Zena has done some of that, and Nathan has done some of that, even in their short time here. And I hope that you guys can continue to go forward in doing that and keeping the city going in the right direction.
Then, after having said those comments, I call for the vote. All those in favor?
And I don't.
I believe she can.
Yeah.
I believe you can. Passes 7-0, and we thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
The discussion and action of filling of the vacancy of council position 6 and the process of filling, we've kind of gone into that a little bit. I want to add, and I want the public to hear this too. There have been 8 individuals that have been at least elevated for consideration. I have contacted each and every one of those 8, and I want to list the 8 for the public record. It is Brian Brown. It is Charles Pulliam. It is Ashley Graves. It is Ashley Klug. It is either David or Crystal Polarstock, which I thought was interesting. Haley, and please correct me for my pronunciation. I think it's Ewell. So I had it right the first time. And Brian Clock. Of those, I've asked people their commitment for 2 things that they are committed to, that they, not just have been recommended for elevation. I kind of put the screws and said, are you committed to do this? And are you committed to also run in May? Okay. And I can say of those 8, 2 have backed out. David or Crystal Polarstock said they cannot make that commitment on either one. They're too busy in doing the things. So there are actually only 6 candidates that are to be considered at this point. And we can talk about how we want to go forward from here. But I'm very aware of the time clock that the city attorney has mentioned, that this begins day 1 of a 30-day clock, which means either we look at elevating somebody on November 13th, which is coming up here Monday, or we have to have a special meeting in between, but we cannot wait till the December 11th meeting, because on December 11th, that'll be beyond the 30 days, and it means that we would not be able to elevate somebody to this position.
By appointment.
By appointment. Okay. Are there any?
Am I still here? Can I say anything or am I gone?
You're gone.
I believe you're gone.
Just checking.
I believe you're gone. So you've tendered your resignation and it has been accepted.
So I can't say one thing about this.
Actually, no, you cannot. I'm sorry.
So whose process are we thinking of? So we have these people, this is just a starting point?
This is just a starting point.
Okay, so other people might show interest. And then what are your thoughts on the process by which we would choose someone?
Well,
based on-
that's part of this point of this
Okay, good, we haven't got there yet.
right here, process of filling.
I'm asking
Right now, yeah, that's the agenda item.
what are we doing?
The charter and the thing gives no help here. There is no structure. There is nothing there. And so from my purposes, my hope is that we have both a open session. I really want most of this an open session, not executive session.
The final vote has to be in public.
Absolutely. But I mean, even the discussion is, if there's multiple candidates, I think that should be done
You can do
primarily in open session.
You can do whatever, you can go into a private session if you want.
I understand, and we will have that, for the 13th. So from that standpoint, if there is something that people would like to have as structure, that's what this is for. And I'm open ears if there's things that we want to do unless we just want to move into it and discuss it in an executive session and talk about it there. So speak now.
I would think that all of these people, because a lot of these people I know, and a couple of them I don't know as well. I mean, I know all of them, but there's a couple I don't know as well. If these people maybe could submit their resumes, and if they could even appear, I don't know if we can ask.
Submit resumes and why they want to be on
Well,
council.
yeah, maybe just
I'm just-
learn about their interest.
That's what I'm trying to.
Right, yeah.
I don't want to be the only one talking about it.
No, I think that's a great idea. I think just maybe a little thing saying what makes them interested in serving on council, and then just their CV,
Yeah, fair enough.
That would give us a great starting point on figuring out.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people,
I
like I
will,
said, well, but then there's a couple of people I don't know as well, and I'd like to be able to.
I will take that and I will make sure that happens. Any other comments, any other questions? I don't even think we need to take action on that.
No, you don't.
So we now move into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.074, which is the evaluation, duties, and objectives of the city manager pursuant to the Texas Government Code Section 551.074 personnel. Thank you for bearing with us on that one. And the time is 7:50? 7:50. 7:50.
So we can expect those applications and resumes at the council meeting.